Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Fate Stay Night Remastered. In the previous episode we went on a date with Saber, for whatever reason, and the date was wonderful. Absolutely nothing horrible happened whatsoever. I would say the relationship between Shirou and Saber is better than ever. Anyways, I'm lying. The date was going okay for the first part, but honestly, I think Shirou was a little bit too optimistic, and I don't really know where he thought things could have went. I know that he's trying to change Saber's mind, for there to be future dates, future experiences to be had, as Saber's not having any of that. She knows what her wish is, she knows what she wants to do. And people have helped in the comments clarify specifically what that is. I'm on the right track, but at the same time not. Basically, she wants herself out. As, we've seen, not necessarily in the form of changing history, she just wants to be gone. Have somebody else take the position, or whatever. There's no life for her to live. She just doesn't want to be in the picture as it is. Which I think I was on the right track with in previous episodes, but things get confusing when you start implementing time and alternate timelines and whatever else. Either way, they did not agree to disagree. They just completely disagreed with one another, got upset, and Shirou ran home like a little bitch, which I kind of respect. I think I hear a sound. I'm not sure when the sun set, but the room has gone dark. The ticking of the clock is getting annoying. Tell me about it.
ちょっと、いつまで寝ぼけてるのよ。いい加減起きてもらわないと困るんだけど。だから起きなさいって。もう10時過ぎよ。ご飯を食べさせろってイリアがうるさいんだから、起きて相手をしてあげなさい。
She sounds upset. I snapped to full wakefulness.
10時過ぎ?
I jump up.
そう。正確には22時17分。夕飯の時間にしては論外ね。
Tosaka stands over me, looking annoyed.
すまん、寝てた。すぐに行くから今で待っててくれ。
それはいいけど、シロ、セイバーは？
Oh, she didn't come home, did she?
いや、ここにいないんなら道場か今じゃないのか。
シロ、私はセイバーがいないから聞いてるの。
Tosaka is serious, and I instantly realize what that means.
まさか、あいつ帰ってきてないのか。
ちょっとシロ、帰ってきてないってどういうことよ。
Tosaka runs out of the room after me. There's no time to explain. I ignore Tosaka's yelling behind me and I rush outside. I mean, she even brought up, getting rid of the contract. I'm not entirely surprised that she didn't come home. The town is quiet. Just like yesterday, there is absolutely nobody around. I don't have the patience to think about how odd that is. Saber hasn't come home yet. I actually don't blame her. We had a huge argument. She said that she was going to fight alone. Knowing her, she would do it too. Saber's nowhere to be found. If I can't find her, that might mean she's actually fighting Lancer, the final servant, as we speak. It's possible. But I head straight to one more place. The air near the river is cold. The night is chilly, and when I passed the park, it was so cold the entire place felt like it was covered in frost. My cheeks and ears sting with the cold, and my breath mist white. If it's that cold in the park, I can't imagine how absolutely freezing it's going to be on the bridge with the wind blowing up from the river. Don't tell me she's still here. God damn it. There I see her. She's right where she'd been standing when I ran away. Saber leans on the rail and just gazes out over the water. Maybe she's following the sun, which is long set. She's staring off into the distance, her eyes fixed on a red horizon that's long since vanished. And that's when I realize Saber is strong, but she's weak too. Her dignified appearance is just her way of trying to prove that she can get by with anyone's help. But at the same time, she's so fragile she might slip through my fingers if I reach for her. She can't do things alone, but she will probably keep that front up till the very end. So, just like me, She'd been staring up at the unreachable stars. All she does is look at the setting sun, as if it's all she knows how to do. I can't leave her alone. If our argument needs a loser, then it's unquestionably me. It's led to me swearing never to let her make that face again. I step out onto the bridge. Saber doesn't seem to hear my footsteps. I approach without a word and lean on the rail next to Saber.
セイバー、体冷えるぞ。
She jumps in surprise. Saber finally notices me.
シロ、
She turns toward me.
何してんだよ、こんな時間まで。いつまでも帰ってこないから、遠坂が心配してたぞ。
そうですか。それは悪いことをした。
別にいいけどな。けど、なんだってこんなところにいたんだ、お前は。
はい。ここにいたのは、まだ行き先が決まっていなかったからです。シロは勝手にしろと言ったでしょう。ですから勝手にしようと思ったのです。
It's a tough decision to make.
けれど何をするべきか、何をしたいのか、どこに行きたいのか思い浮かばず、ずっとどこに行くべきかを考えていました。
She sounds like a lost child. Saber doesn't look at me in the eyes as she speaks. Maybe she feels guilty. Maybe she does after the fight we had. I can't blame her for thinking I must be angry.
申し訳ありません。リンには世話になったと伝えてください。
Oh, careful who you,
ランサーを倒し、聖杯を
careful
手
who
に入れ
you
たの
owe
な
a
ら、
debt to,
シ
by
ロ
the
の元
way,
に戻り
while
ま
a
す。
war is still
ですか
going
ら
on.
それまで。
Is she saying that she intended to wander around alone without anywhere to go home to? That idiot.
何言ってるんだ。お前が帰るところは俺んちだろ。飯だって布団だって、ちゃんとセイバーの分を用意してんだから。
ですが、シロはもう私のことなど知らないと。
そうだよ。セイバーが何考えてるか、俺にはわからない。
I say that, and then I take her hand.
シロ、
うちに帰るぞ。いくらサーバントだからって、こんなに冷えたら風邪をひく。早く戻って、あったかいものでも食べよ
う。ですが私は。
それと、言っとくけど、俺は謝らないからな。文句があるなら、今のうちに言っとけよ。
I'm crude about it, but I try to avoid her gaze. She stares at me confused. Saber looks like she wants to apologize, but I ignore her. Maybe that works in my favor. She doesn't say anything. She just follows me in silence, holding my hand. These two really are one of the same in a way, you know? We head across the bridge and into the park. It's 11 o'clock. There's nobody in the park, but it's packed with plenty of decorations, like fountains and streetlights. I walk briskly. Saber's steps are sluggish. She stood on that bridge for more than 5 hours. She must be freezing and tired. When I tug on her hand, she occasionally stumbles, like she's about to fall down.
セイバー、もう少しゆっくり歩こうか。なんか調子が良くなさそうだし。
I turn toward her as I speak.
いえ、体はとても元気です。ただリンの言葉に踊らされるわけではありませんが、こうして手をつないでいると、本当に合いびきのようだなと。
Oh yeah, nobody in the previous episode told me what that was, so now I actually have to go and Google it. Thanks, guys. No, I'm just kidding. I should have Googled it from the get-go. What is a tryst? Let's see. Okay, just looking up that did not tell me anything. Tryst meaning a private romantic rendezvous between lovers. All right. Not very private, is it? When you're on a, date in a public setting. And just like that, my face turns bright, hot red.
そうだな。手離そうか。
Oh, come on.
いいえ、私もこうしている方がいいです。
Yeah, probably compared to
シ
your
ロの手は
hands.
温かくて安心します。
being out here in the fucking cold. And there our conversation ends. I resume heading home just to cover my embarrassment. Saber follows in silence. I'm not even sure how much farther it is to the house. A little embarrassed by the warmth of our clasped hands, we both leave the park. A lot has happened today, but if we're ending the day with warmth like this, hell, I'll change religions and thank that priest who, well, indirect as he may be, allowed this moment to happen. Of course, the second I think that...
どこに行く?
Who's that?
勝手に人のものを持っていくな。
Oh,
小僧。
it's OG Archer. We run into someone we never should have. Is he in his crazy armor? The elation I had felt vanishes and my mind goes blank. Goosebumps cover my body and I realize I've forgotten how to breathe.
シロ、
Saber, standing behind me, probably feels the same. She grips my hand tightly in her own. The same way I feel a sense of impending death. Saber feels the inevitable despair.
待たせたな、セイバー。約束通り、こうして迎えに来てやったぞ。
あーちゃ。
Oh, fuck. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What am I trying to get at here? In the very beginning, when we were still following Rin, wasn't holy fuck, I forgot her name since we haven't seen her in so long. What's her face? Wasn't she like, didn't she encounter some guy that appeared to be a foreigner? Or at least that was Rin's interpretation of him in like the very beginning, and he was kind of bothering her. Is this him? I don't know why I'm getting that vibe, but maybe it's because he's in his street clothes, which I do have to say, that is a pretty fly jacket. The man in gold, the unidentified heroic spirit who annihilated Castor's bone soldiers, and even took out Castor with barely any effort. Now that monster stands in front of us. He's so close. We're at exactly the right distance to begin slashing at each other at any moment. Death looms right in front of us, even more than when we faced Berserker.
どうしたセイバー。俺がわざわざ出向いてやったのだ。いつまでも黙っているのは無礼であろう。それとも、俺のものになる前に少しばかり遊ぶつもりか？騎士王よ。
Archer stifles a laugh. He's not even looking at me. Saber is his only focus. He admires her like she is a piece of art. Saber's demeanor changes. She must have made up her mind. She's already determined the man in front of us is an enemy, while I've hardly moved a muscle.
シロ、何としても衝撃だけは防ぎます。その隙にあなただけは離脱してください。それがどれほど困難かは分かっていますが、あのサーバント相手ではそれが精一杯なのです。
I can hear the apology in her voice for not being able to do more. Even someone as powerful as Saber can only block his first attack. My chances of getting away from this guy are slim at best. Saber is asking me to forgive her for what is about to happen. She probably knows that there's no way for her to defeat the man in gold. I can't let her do that. This is different than when we fought Berserker. I know, though I don't have proof, that making Saber fight this servant can only end badly. Actually, I do have proof. I know from seeing his noble phantasm last night. Saber can't beat him right now. This is not a matter of her skills as a knight. That's not even the right way to look at this. No heroic spirit, so long as they remain a heroic spirit, can beat the man in gold.
違う。逃げるのはお前の方だ、セイバー。
シロ、
A little backwards, but okay. I cover Saber and face Archer.
ほう、そうか。マスターがいたのだったな。あまりのみすぼらしさゆえ、犬か何かだと思ったぞ。
Bark, bark, homie, what up? He smiles cheerfully. He raises an arm and lazily snaps his fingers. I feel sick. I need to leave right now or I'm dead. There's no rhyme or reason. I just know instinctively that this guy will kill me for standing in front of him like this.
行けセイバーここからなら境界が近いあいつならあれが相手でもお前をかくまってくれるはずだ
I do wonder about that, you know, given the fact that he's a bit of an oddity here. I push Saber away and start running, trying to escape the death I can only hope isn't inevitable. There's no plan here. I'm just going to risk it all and run straight at this guy. Then I'm going to project Saber's sword again, just like when we fought Berserker. I think we died. I'm blown back. What just happened? The moment he snapped his fingers, something appeared right beside me. It's a giant hammer. It knocks me aside like a piece of trash and I slam hard into the ground. I can't move. My body is completely useless. Like all my bones have turned to jelly. I've lost all sensation in my limbs. The pain is so dull I can't even tell if I'm still alive.
殺しはせん。今ここで貴様を潰せば、セイバーも消えてしまうからな。不本意ではあるが、聖杯を呼ぶまでは生かしておいてやろう。
The man laughs. I try to push myself up, but my body won't listen.
だが思い上がるなよ雑種。貴様なぞいなくとも、サーバントを存命させる方法はある。単に今の状態が最も手がかからぬだけだ。それ以上さえずるのなら、殺すぞ。
I mean, Caster made it work. She was able to completely kill her master. And then my mind goes blank. He will kill me. If I make even a single move, he will do just what he said he would. I can't possibly move after that kind of warning.
Shirou!
Saber tries to run toward me.
どこに行く？邪魔者はいなくなったのだ。お前が向かうべきは、そのようなクズではなかろう。
The man in gold won't allow it. He stands in front of me and waits for Saber to reach me. Saber stops and glares at him. The two stand about 10 meters apart. I don't know about Archer, but Saber can close that distance in a heartbeat.
その様子ではまだ俺に下る気はないようだな。理解に苦しむ。お前ほどの英霊ならば、俺に選ばれることがどれほどの価値かわかろうに。
Who is this guy?
よまいごと英霊になろうと私は王だ。貴様の軍網になど下らぬ。
そうか？いかに王であろうと、お前は女だ。主の前に頭を垂れ、仕え尽くすが女の幸せであろう。だというのに何を拒む？まさか物もわからぬ小娘でもあるまいし、俺の女になるのは恐ろしいか？
Well, this guy definitely comes from a, I don't know if you can say a time period similar to Saber's, but there is a connection here. There has to be.
貴様。
そう憤るな。俺は奪うだけではない。等しく喜びも与えよう。俺のものになるというのならば、文字通りこの世のすべてを与えてやる。誇るがいい。お前にはそれだけの価値があると認めたのだ。
Damn, I wish somebody would deem me worthy. The man moves. He extends both arms and approaches Saber, as if in a welcoming embrace.
そう。守護者になどなることもなく、死にゆく運命に戻ることもない。もう一度だけ言うぞ、セイバー。このまま俺のものになれ。この世界で、共に二度目の生を謳歌しようではないか。
断る。そのようなことに興味はないし、何より貴様と共に生きるなどまかり間違ってもありえません。
Saber looks straight at Archer as she speaks. She stands firm, not taking so much as a step back. His laughter suddenly stops. I'm not sure what he found so funny in the first place.
いいぞ。 それでこそ俺の見込んだ女よ。はあ、この世に一つ程度は俺に従わぬ者がいなければな。よーし。では力ずくだ。聖杯を手に入れた後、その身に中身をぶちまけてやろう。
Okay, that's some kinky shit, I guess, but alright.
喜べよセイバー。そうなればマスターなど不要となる。万能の器である聖杯、その力すべてを飲み干すのだからな。サーバントなどと人間の使い魔に甘んじることもなくなるだろう。
He's so damn smug. To that.
アーチャー、貴様の目的は何だ？
That's what I want to know. She must have realized that the only option is to fight him. And before she engages with the enemy, she wants to know why he does what he does.
目的か？さあ、何だったか。あいにくこの世の財はすべて手に入れた身でな。
It's
望む
strange.
ものなどとうにない。
He acts as if he did obtain the Holy Grail in the previous war.
聖杯を求めてはいないというのか？
聖杯？ああ、不老不死か。そんなものは蛇にくれてやった。
不老不死を蛇に譲った？
Saber freezes. What just happened? Saber subtly shakes her head to refute those words.
だがこの世界は面白いぞ。根本は変わらぬが、装飾もここまで来れば別物だ。これならば、再びこの世で君臨するのも悪くない。
Once again, huh?
そうだな。俺の目的といえばそんなところか。それを効率よく進めるというのであらば、聖杯の力も悪くはないな。
支配欲か。見下げ果てたな、アーチャー。そんなことのために聖杯を欲するとは。
欲するのではない。世の財はすべて我のもの。自分のものを他人に使われるのが我慢ならんだけよ。お前とて、その政権を人に使われては腹立たしいだろう。騎士王よ。
Pale mist shrouds Saber. Then, in a flash, she is wearing her brilliant silver armor.
ほう？
He doesn't move a muscle. In the next instant, Saber dashes forward. In the space of a single breath, she rushes straight at the man and swings her invisible sword at him with deadly speed. Saber goes flying backwards. If Saber's armor materialized by magical energy, Archer's must be the same. In the brief space of their rapid exchange, the man in gold arms himself. Saber looks calmly at Archer as she readies her sword. Even as his eyes meet hers, his sneer remains.
よいぞ。歯向かうことを許す、セイバー。
Oh, this can only go swimmingly. The enemy happily announces the beginning of battle. A white light bursts in the air between them. Saber's sword, shrouded in a bolt of lightning, cleaves directly toward the Golden Knight. 1, 2, 3, 4 strikes. Each time Saber's sword strikes, blinding light flashes from the contact. Watching her repeated attacks is like staring at a strobe light. It's just like when I first saw Saber, that night when she fought Lancer. Saber channels her excess magical energy into her sword and strikes with such speed and precision that she all but becomes a lightning bolt. The clang of swords against armor echoes through the air. Archer hasn't even drawn his weapon yet. As Saber's sword strikes at him, he barely manages to defend his head with both hands. He simply doesn't have the skill to block Saber's attacks. Saber's skill with a sword is vastly superior to his. On top of that, her sword is invisible. Even if Archer draws his weapon, he won't be able to defend against that invisible blade. It strikes his armor relentlessly. The sword hits the armor, chipping away at it and sending sparks showering in all directions. The only thing the man can do is ward Saber's blows from his face with his hands. And this isn't a fight. It's a massacre. But in spite of the fury of Saber's attacks, Archer's armor remains intact. If he's still unscathed even after such a savage assault, that golden armor must be his noble phantasm.
さすがにこれ以上はまずいか。相変わらず底なしの魔力よな。俺の鎧がきしみを上げるなど。
Archer raises his arm, but not towards Saber. I have no idea what he's trying to do, but Archer just stretches his arm up into the empty night sky.
戯れは終わりだ。その身、ここで俺に捧げるがいい。
Am I hallucinating? Is this an illusion? He has something in his hand. It's a short sword shaped like a key. Wait, did he just bring up the fucking Keyblade or some shit? Saber plants both feet, unleashing a much more powerful attack against Archer. But Archer bats it aside with his dark red sword.
今のは復讐の呪詛を含んだ宝具か。
Saber puts some distance between herself and Archer, glaring at his sword. The enemy wielding such a weapon is a threat, no question. But it also means he's showing his hand. Whether his noble phantasm is armor or a sword, we'll be able to figure out how to deal with it as long as we can see it. Saber readjusts her stance. Archer's already said his armor is at its limit. If Saber can go back on the offensive with the same fury as before, she should be able to cut through his armor. Even if he pulls out his noble phantasm now, the next blow will decide the match. Oh, it's not going to be that easy.
前回つけられなかった決着をつけよう、アーチャー。
The sword in her hand is still invisible. She readies her sacred sword, still bound up in a swirling wind, and faces her enemy. Saber seems to know what the noble phantasm is. She puts that distance between them because she knows how to deal with it. She's readying herself to face Archer directly. Each of them wields a sword, and if their powers are equal, then it is a matter of the wielder's skill. And that should mean Saber will win.
よかろう。では来るがいいセイバー。その剣に免じ、俺のすべてを見せてやる。
The man laughs.
ならば。
Saber charges without hesitation. Her sword will cleave through his armor. The very instant I think that.
ゲート・オブ・バビロン。
Ayo. An invisible door opens behind the man. Saber jerks to one side. Archer holds something else in his hand now, not the black and red sword. It's an invisible sword like Saber's. By the time Saber deflects it, Archer already has a different sword. His sword strikes at her in a merciless rain of ice shards. Saber twists away to dodge, but the air around her becomes almost solid with flying blades. She's driven back as the blades close in on her from all sides. As the shards clinging to Saber vanish, her enemy holds a deadly-looking weapon that resembles the Grim Reaper's scythe. Saber blocks the weapon, arcing for her neck with a gauntlet. I don't know why that threw me off, but it's useless. The scythe shears through her gauntlet like it's made of tissue paper and begins to drain her magical energy. It's as if it's trying to pull out her bones rather than her blood or flesh. Saber stumbles, but she manages to keep it together. But her retreat takes on a different note. She's not distancing herself to prepare for her next attack. She's desperately fleeing the enemy. Saber glares at Archer as she passes magical energy through her numbed arm. A halo of hilts floats around Archer. Those are the swords that slaughtered Castor, his noble phantasm. Now it's backing Saber into a corner. Even I, looking on from a distance, can't believe what I'm seeing. All those hilts floating behind him are definitely his noble phantasm. Not 10, not 20. I can't see them all, but I can tell there's no end to them. They're all from different times and places. That servant has all the divine mysteries that have ever been mentioned in various legends and lore.
アーチャー、あなたは何者だ?
I wonder, does it go beyond him stealing? It can't just be that. Saber's voice trembles. No servant would ever reveal their true name just because someone asks. But Archer's noble phantasm is so bizarre, Saber couldn't help but ask.
答えなさい、アーチャー。英霊が持つ宝具は一つだけのはず。いえ、中には複数の宝具を持っている者もいますが、だとしても二つが限度だ。そのように際限なく宝具を持つ英霊など存在するはずがない。
存在するはずがない？それは早計だな、セイバー。英霊は生前用いた武器を宝具とする。ならば単純な話ではないか。この宝具は全て俺が生前に集めたものということではないか？
Collected, huh?
私を侮っているのか、アーチャー。それこそ絶対にありえない。あなたが何者であろうと、他の英霊たちのシンボルたる宝具を揃えられるはずがない。そのような英霊はこの世界に存在しない。
Saber's right. All the noble phantasms he has are real. There are demonic swords from Northern Europe and even from South America. No hero ever made a name for themselves in so many regions. Besides, Lancers should be the only one with Gaebold. Heroic spirits have their favorite weapon that they use during their life as their noble phantasm. Based on that rule, the only one who could have Gaebold is I forgot how to pronounce his name. I don't even think I pronounced it correctly the first time. Chulain? Whatever. But Archer isn't him. He is not that guy. And that means his spear can't be Gaebold. But the thing is, it definitely is the real Gaebold. If those noble phantasms were all fake, that would explain it, but they're real. So that's just... No, wait. Could they all be originals? The weapons prototypes? It might be possible. Legend and myth don't spring up from nothing. Plenty of myths share commonalities because someone or something served as the model for them. Legends, which get to the point of becoming the basis of worship, usually only take root in the lands where they are said to take place. That's one of the reasons demonic swords and sacred swords reveal their true abilities in the lands they come from. So let's say there's something from before even that. What if various noble phantasms in mythology existed before they were known and named?
お前のマスターも捨てたものではないな。どうやら俺の正体に心当たりがあるらしい。
Yeah, I don't though. Saber turns to face me. She's so far away. I can't help her from so far away. I've finally gotten to the point where I can move, even if it's still difficult.
逃げろ、セイバー。そいつと宝具は
本物だというのだろう。そう、単純な話だ、セイバー。最も古い時代、まだ世界が一つだった頃の話をしよう。その国は栄え、王はあらゆる財宝を収集した。集められぬものなどなく、足りぬものなどなかった。王は完璧な宝物庫を持ち、その中にある有象無象の武器は使われることなく王と共に眠りについた。要はそれだけの話だ。王の死後、宝物庫の中身は世界に散らばり、名剣であるがゆえに重宝され活躍し、いずれ宝具として扱われた。わかるか、騎士王よ。お前たちの扱う宝具とやらは、もともとはその王の持ち物に過ぎないのだと。
It's so strange. You would think things would be the other way around. A lot of these weapons, I would assume, would have been created by those that, are famous for using them. It's like an inheritance. As long as you trace an object's history, a base or prototype will always exist. It only makes sense that every legend, myth, or noble phantasm passed down in each country has an original. Far enough back into the past, if one person collected all those prototypes, they could possess every noble phantasm. And that could only be one hero. A hero from the oldest of legends, far older than the legend of King Arthur or Heracles, the tyrant who ruled ancient... I don't even know how to pronounce that, so I'm out of guesses. I don't really know who the fuck this could be, guys. I mean, I guess it's not necessarily stealing, but it's collecting before they were dispersed out into the rest of the world as the world expanded. Mesopotamia? Is that how you pronounce that? A king who was half god, half human, who collected all the world's treasures and who eventually sought eternal youth. God damn it. Oh, who could it be? I'm sure it's probably a name that I will recognize whenever it's stated. I can't think of anybody. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I'm not really the best when it comes to this. I'm not really historically accurate with anything. I don't know my stories. Like I said earlier as well, I didn't really even know the story of King Arthur. I've been learning more about that here than I ever did outside of this fucking story. So, yeah, I don't know who this could be. I don't know.
ギルガメッシュ。人類最古の英雄王。
Oh, yeah, see, there's no way I was gonna fucking guess that shit, but the name is familiar. Saber sounds like she's trying to keep the fear from her voice. Gilgamesh relishes her reaction.
いかにもこの身は貴様らでは叶うべくもない最強の英霊だ
Okay, well, I saw that we have new servant data. Yep, there he is, Gilgamesh. Oh, fuck, we get to read. Alright, let's do it. Part man, part god, he is a king who ruled Uruk, a city-state of Sumeria, before the Common Era. A ruler not just of legend, but who is also believed to have actually existed. He is written about in one of mankind's oldest epic poems, the Epic of Gilgamesh. A 2/3 divine and 1/3 human demigod, he is a peerless sovereign of the world and a supreme being who has obtained everything in existence. Initially, he was a tyrant who thought little of his citizens, but his behavior gradually changed after befriending Enkidu. Enkidu was a divine creation made by the goddess Aruru in response to the prayers of the people suffering under Gilgamesh's oppressive rule. Enkidu and Gilgamesh were destined to meet, and they affected one another greatly. At first, Gilgamesh feared and viewed Enkidu as an enemy, but the two soon formed a mutual bond and later worked as equals to govern the nation. The two of them also defeated the guardian of the forest, the divine beast Humbaba, and Gilgamesh would eventually go on to be known as the greatest king on earth, taking possession of every fortune known to man. At this point, Gilgamesh was a dazzling and powerful being that even the gods could not ignore. A goddess fell in love with Gilgamesh. The goddess of fertility, Ishtar, proposed marriage to the perfect king, but Gilgamesh bluntly rebuffed the goddess's proposal. Jesus, really? He did so because he knew Ishtar was a capricious and brutal witch who ruined men's lives. That's the perfect woman. What are you talking about? An angry Ishtar claimed Gilgamesh insulted her, and she sent her father Anu's bowl of heaven to earth as retaliation. The unleashing of this unbeatable divine beast caused 7 years of famine and destruction. Gilgamesh and Enkidu worked together to confront the bowl of heaven and successfully defeat it, further tarnishing the goddess's reputation. Ishtar's anger could not be quelled, so the goddess asked the gods for the death of either Gilgamesh or Enkidu, reasoning that a human killing a divine beast is a punishable sin. Ishtar's wishes were heard, and Enkidu slowly wasted away until they died, as they were a creation of the gods and unable to resist their orders. This was the start of Gilgamesh's downfall. He was shocked to find that his friend, the only one who could match him in power, was just as capable of death. Gilgamesh was haunted by the fear of this doom, and so he set out on a journey to the underworld in search of immortality. After an arduous trek, Gilgamesh obtained the elixir of immortality. However, as he bathed en route home, a snake drank the elixir, and Gilgamesh was left to die in despair. It is said that snakes are reborn into a new body each time they shed their skin because one drank Gilgamesh's elixir. That's a pretty interesting connection, but humanity's oldest king of heroes, Gilgamesh, tales of his clash with the gods, his journey to seek immortality, and a great flood over the world, everything in his epic became the archetype and basis for all mythology. His name may not be recognizable as Arthur or Heracles, but this comparatively nameless figure is the oldest hero king. His overwhelming power truly makes him the strongest heroic spirit. God damn. Yeah, I mean, he's got that charisma. I think we've already read through all these. Noble Phantasm, Treasury of the King, which could rank fucking anywhere. A key-shaped sword that connects to the Golden Capital. It bridges space and allows the user to freely take any treasure from the vault. Though it need not be said, the more treasures that are gathered, the greater the power of this noble phantasm. That is some fucked shit, actually. That is so broken. There's nothing else to discuss. All that's left now is for him to use his endless noble phantasms to annihilate his enemy.
ほう、我の名を知った上でまだ抗うか。今度こそ勝ち目がないと悟ったはずだが。
やってみなければわかりません。いかに英雄王といえど、超えられぬものがあるはずだ。
The air around Saber wavers. Oh, it's Noble Phantasm time. At least this shouldn't lead to her death. The wind envelops her as it picks up, becoming a whirlwind to protect her. As it does, her golden sword is revealed. I don't believe this. Does Saber intend to use Excalibur? Gilgamesh stops. He must know how powerful Saber's sacred sword is because his self-assured composure falters. Saber glances toward me briefly, but her focus is on Gilgamesh now. Is she telling me to run away while I have the opportunity? Gilgamesh's back is to the river, while Saber is over here with me. This positioning must be the result of our shuffling around earlier. Before I realize what's happening, Saber is facing Gilgamesh, protecting me. I try to force myself to move, and with all the strength I can muster in my numb body, all I can manage is lifting a single arm. I use every bit of magical energy in my body to use that arm to push myself up. Damn, we're gonna give ourselves a fucking stroke here. Or a heart attack. Whichever one comes first. I've lost all sensation, but every bone in my body creaks as I begin moving. The pain is a warning. My body is coming apart at the seams, and if I move, that'll be it. I push myself to my feet, ignoring the warning. I try to endure the pain. I don't have time for it. What I need to do is get to my feet as fast as I can and protect Saber. I have a really, really bad feeling about this. It's the same premonition I felt when I faced Gilgamesh myself. We can't beat him no matter what. My instincts keep telling me that I just can't let Saber fight him.
音に聞こえし聖剣か。いいだろう。
The swirling wind has become a raging vortex. Even in the face of that dazzling sword, Gilgamesh is unintimidated. On top of that,
では、こちらもふさわしいものを出さなければな。
he draws a strange sword from the gate behind him. What the fuck? That's where my premonition came from. The sword he has now doesn't exist in any legend. I can identify every one of the noble phantasms floating behind him, but I have no idea about that sword.
俺はすべての宝具の原型を持つ。だがそれらはすべて無名であり、俺しか持ち得ぬ武具というわけではない。
The sword itself is cylindrical. It consists of 3 segments, each rotating in different directions. It looks like a drill capable of piercing solid bedrock.
だがこれは違う。正真正銘、この英雄王しか持ち得ぬ剣だ。名などないのでな。俺はエアとだけ呼んでいるが。
That's a weak-ass name. For a sword having no name, it's got a weak-ass name.
純粋に宝具の力比べをすると。
Light flashes off their weapons. The two of them are still about 10 meters apart. Gilgamesh can't possibly avoid her attacks from that distance.
そうだ。なに、遠慮することはないぞ。最強と呼ばれるその剣。一度味わってみたくもあったからな。
His laughter echoes in the space between them. Saber must have taken that as a provocation.
いいだろう。ならば我が剣、見事受け切ってみるがいい。
Saber moves. Her lips form the sword's true name. There's nowhere to run now. The noble phantasm, released when its wielder speaks its name, strikes mercilessly at Gilgamesh.
出番だ。起きるがいい。エア。
The cylindrical sword roars. Oh, what crazy bullshit will happen here. In response to Gilgamesh's words, the three segments whirl faster. If Saber's Excalibur summons a whirlwind by driving wind away, Gilgamesh's Ea creates a gale by drawing in wind. But Saber is more experienced with handling her anti-fortress Noble Phantasm. It's faster than Ea. Saber pours as much magical energy as she possibly can into her weapon in seconds, igniting its massive power. She doesn't hesitate. Saber unleashes the might of a sacred sword so powerful it could split a river in two. At the same moment, a light of matching intensity flares to meet Excalibur's attack. God damn. Well, anybody within a 1 kilometer radius is dead. The impact is tremendous. Raging winds tear trees from the ground. The colliding lights are like an exploding sun blinding me. I'm on the verge of being carried off by the wind. I cling to the ground with my one functioning arm. That's all I can do to weather the storm of wind, light, and heat. How long will this go on? Their overwhelming attacks are so powerful I fear they might split the world in two. But then... it suddenly ends with Saber surrounded by white light. Jesus Christ. Damn, I was right. Everybody in a 1 kilometer radius is dead, dead, dead. Jesus. Oh, and we got more servant data. Cool. A crash breaks the unexpected silence. Something thuds into the ground beside me. I know what it is. Even half blind, I couldn't mistake what I'm seeing. Oh, fuck. God damn, she got fucked up. She looks dead. She's a bloody mess. In the distance, the Golden Knight, completely unscathed, laughs like a madman.
人類最強の聖剣とやらもその程度か。人間の幻想など、所詮子供魂よな。
His laughter rises so high, it seems to soar up into the heavens. This must be hilarious to him. He's just smiling to himself, not even paying Saber any mind now that she's fallen.
Saber!
She doesn't answer. Blood spurts from her mouth as she tries to gasp. The world goes red. What was I doing? I knew this would happen. I knew Saber couldn't win against Gilgamesh. So why didn't I try to stop her, even if I had to use a command spell?
しかし味気ない。完全にこちらの圧勝か。相殺することもできぬとは拍子抜けだぞセイバー。ああそうか。少しは手加減してやるべきだった。何しろ相手は女子供だったのだ。
Yeah, I don't think that was the problem here, man. His smug voice is grating. This is my fault. I thought she could win. As bad a feeling as I had about this, I was sure Excalibur would win. I may have told her to stop, but my command spell didn't reach. I obviously wasn't serious. If I'd been serious about protecting her, I could have used a command spell to make her escape, even if it was just her. And then there would have at least been options for me to fight on my own.
さて、
Right.
ではいただくとするか。汚れてしまったが。何？いずれ同じ目に遭うのだ。
His voice draws closer. Saber must have come too. I can see her eyes open.
セイバー、無事か？
I can see her breathing, yet I'm still far enough away that I can't reach her. She lays still, but I can't run to her. All I can do is call out to her.
セイバー、セイバー、セイバー。
Saber's mouth opens. She breathes in as if to ask for help, but even that is painful enough to send her into a coughing fit. Yes, we get it, game. Oh shit.
シロ、そこにいるのですか?
Her voice is weak, and the question makes clear that she can't see me.
待ってろ、すぐに。
I can't very well say I'll help. I'm on the ground too, and can only move one arm. I can't even offer words of encouragement. At least she can't see me in this pathetic state.
ああ、そうか。負けたのですね。
She tilts her head toward me, her eyes lifeless.
申し訳ありません。どうか、あなただけでも逃げてください。マスター。
Saber coughs up blood. Anger seizes me and I see red. I've been relying on Saber, and this is the result. I took one hit and I can't even get up. I grab my head with the one hand that still works. I could just about kill myself. I have every intention of crushing my head, and so pour all the strength I can into my hand. The switch fails. Instead of using my finger, I imagine a hammer to press the switch to change myself into a mage.
二度と使わないようにね。投影はあんたの手に余るから。
I hear Tosaka's voice. She said that trying to do magecraft beyond your abilities will destroy the caster's nerves and magic circuits. So what? Saber's more important than any of that. If I can't protect her, I don't need my head anyway. She's saved me so many times. I've never cared about someone the way I care about her. So, if I can't protect her, I'm better off dead. Come on, get those gears going. I hear the pounding of iron. The shattered bones of my body are being reinforced by magical energy. And there's no holding back. I throw my switch open wide. Ignoring my own limits, I generate as much magical energy as I can. My spine ignites and my entire body grows red hot. My brain feels like it's melting and I bite my tongue to endure it. My teeth sink into the fleshy muscle. If I have to bite a hole in my tongue to remain conscious, so be it.
何？
The footsteps stop. Gilgamesh's amused laughter stops with them.
シロ、何をしているのです。ダメだ。そんなことをしたら体が。
She must sense something, even without being able to see. Saber screams as she tries desperately to push herself up. Something in me snaps. I stand up. My body tries to ignore my orders, but it begins to move with the help of the surge of magical energy I pour into it. It's like being set on fire and instinctively running toward water in hopes of surviving. I don't care. It's better than seeing Saber like that. There it is. Oh, right. With my mind very nearly burning up, I finally realize, from the beginning, I vowed to wield my sword because I didn't want her to get hurt.
逃げてと言っているのにどうして
He isn't really one for listening. Just throwing that out there, you know? I stopped the enemy from approaching. Saber is behind me on the ground. This is it. There's no way I can retreat now.
ドレス
I restrain my panicking, burning body and focus my will. I need to imagine one single thing. I divide the projection into 8 sections and replicate the lost sword. Oh, it's gaming time. There's something solid in my left hand. I don't even have to look. My second attempt at manufacturing the sword succeeds.
私の剣いえそれでもダメだシロも分かっているはずですそれでは彼には勝てないと動けるのなら今は逃げるのだ
逃げないセイバーを迎えに来たんだなのに一人で帰ることなんてできるもんか
I ready the sword. I hold it in both hands. It's so much heavier than the bamboo sword and glare at Gilgamesh.
やめてシロこの男はそんな
I ignore Saber's words and take a step forward. There's about 4 meters between us. If I rush at him with all my might, maybe I can cut him down. He doesn't move. Gilgamesh watches me for a moment and then laughs.
殺すか
His voice is utterly devoid of emotion. I instinctively block the attack that comes my way. I dodge the surprise attack by swaying sideways. Too slow. If the first attack is a sudden gust, the barrage of attacks that follows is like a storm. Blocking is all I can do. Actually, I wouldn't have been able to... I wouldn't have been... Goddamn. I would not have been able to block the first attack on my own. I was having a stroke there. Fortunately, when I reproduced the sword, I also reproduced its memory. A sword that's been in so many battles gains a will of its own after all that experience. This sword must have already mastered this particular dance. I can't follow Gilgamesh's attacks, but the sword seems to be able to. Before I move my arm, the sword is already reacting to Gilgamesh's attacks. I let the sword guide me, and manage to parry Gilgamesh's fierce attack. It doesn't last long. Every time I swing the sword, my fingers go numb, and I find myself gradually lagging more and more behind the sword's guidance.
雑種見苦しいにも程がある
Oh, I'm sure. And guys, we will get to the conclusion of this fight in the next episode. I am just out of time. I do not have the time, unfortunately, to record the remainder of this lovely fight. But I am very excited to see how it's going to end, and I hope you guys are too. You guys better be fucking ready. I don't know how this can go, but I mean, given how we're up against a god amongst servants, and then Shirou, you know, it's favors, you know, aren't really anywhere near Shirou whatsoever. Like, there's no winning. The victory is not in his favor, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Nowhere close. It's not looking good for him. But there have been some surprising things in this story, and you know, maybe there might be another one here. But thank you all for watching. Sorry for ending it here. You know, horrible plays. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. And we'll get back to this in the next episode. Take it easy.